Hey humans, it's Brittany Francois here to start off our first episode of Double T Teaching Thursdays. I'm not gonna get you guys' feet wet. I'm more so just gonna throw you in there like a 6-month-old baby into the pool and just jump right into it. Today's topic is about doing your homework. Okay, even if you aren't an actor, I'm pretty sure in any classroom setting, you've always heard your teacher say, do your homework. Well, in this acting profession, it's very, very, very imperative that you, the actor, complete a character analysis. So that's what do your homework is. It's basically you discovering who the heck your character is, and being able to dissect your script and understand where your character fits into this script. Doing your homework. I've created my own character analysis here and broke it down for you. So I've split it into 6 major sections of what a character analysis should look like. And I'm going to list them out for you. And then I'm going to go in and I'm going to basically go in a little bit more detail of each section and how you should accomplish your character analysis. So a character analysis, first and foremost, is extremely, extremely, extremely imperative. It is the second step. It's the second step that you complete as an actor. The first step, reading your script. You can't complete a character analysis if you don't read your script, because then you literally have no idea who you are. So your very first job when you are cast in anything is to read your script. Now, a good actor, a professional actor, if they're able to get their hands on it, they will read the script before they even audition, honey, so that they can know what it is they're getting themselves into, especially if the casting directors ask them to do a cold read. They already have a little bit of idea of how the script is read, basically. But in other cases where you've never seen the script before, then when you are first cast and you are giving your script, your very first thing as an actor that you're going to do is read the script. And then the second major thing that you're going to do is create a character analysis. Jumping right into that. The reason I was saying the character analysis is very imperative because it basically, I said this already, it sets the tone of who your character is and what you mean to the script. But understanding your character also helps you understand other characters better, and it also helps you understand the script better as well. A lot of times there are hidden factors within the characters that explain a lot of vacancies within the script. And I'm being very vague about that because I'm going to go into that topic on a different day. So, jumping right into your character analysis. Very first thing you want to do is create a super objective. Second thing you want to do is create your character's opposite forces. Third, character relationships. Fourth, you're going to do a physical description. Fifth, a sociological profile. And then sixth, a psychological profile. So, starting with the very first thing, a super objective. So, super objective isn't just used for acting. Some of you have probably heard this term before because it pertains to just story writing in general. Like I said, not just acting. And what's imperative about the super objective is it's basically the motto or the main goal. In this particular aspect, we're talking about the character. So a super objective is going to be what is the main goal that your character is trying to achieve from start to finish. So most of the time, super objective is pretty much generated to 1. There are different circumstances where you will have multiple super objectives. For those cases where you have a protagonist who turns to an antagonist, or vice versa, or good person goes bad, bad person turns good. In some cases, your super objective is going to change, like in TV series. A lot of times your character isn't going to have the same super objective as it had in season 1 that it has in season 13. So when it comes to establishing one main super objective, it's normally geared towards the theater and film realm. TV series can be a little bit tricky when it comes to the super objective, but typically, like I said, your super objective is going to be one main objective. Now, the reason why this is first and foremost something that is number 1 on the list is because your super objective pretty much sets the tone for the entire script. Because like I said earlier, you are going to aim for this goal from start to finish. So in each scene, you're going to keep in the back of your mind what your super objective is. You have to always get to that main goal. And that's going to set a lot of the tone for how your character uses their tactics, how your character interacts and has different relationships with other people in the script. That super objective is going to be a very pertinent part of discovering the why for your character. Now, underneath your super objective, you are going to have subsection objectives. So simply, like I said, the super objective is what do you want to establish for the entirety of the script. So that means your subsection objectives is what is it that you want to obtain in each scene. So each scene is going to have a completely different tactic to try to get to your end goal of your super objective. So think about it like this. In school, when you're writing an essay, your professor, or at least mine, always said that your thesis statement needs to be written first. And then you're going to write your introduction, and then your body and your closing paragraph. And the reason why you want to write your thesis statement first is because your essay is going to be geared all around your thesis statement, because that's your main topic of focus. That's basically what your entire essay is about. So if you think of your super objective like that, your super objective is what is the play going to be all about for your character. And then in those subsections, so in those different body parts of your essay, you're going to use different kind of tactics and to try to get to that end goal of your super objective. If that makes sense. So that leads into number 2, which is your opposite forces. So your opposite forces, that can pretty much be discovering simply who your character is, as far as, are you an antagonist, are you a protagonist, are you a neutral character, are you on neither side, do you even know who you are as the character, not necessarily as the actor. If I'm referring to you as the actor, I will specify that. So you might not even know who you are as your character. You are confused. You probably don't know who you are in the beginning, and you don't discover it until the end. So opposite forces, I personally, when I'm doing my character analysis, I do my super objective first, because that's going to lead pretty much everything else. And then I do my physical description, sociological profile, psychological, and then I come back to my opposite forces. Because again, this is for me personally, if I narrow down my physicalities, my sociological, so my thought processes, and I guess my inner circle, my everyday life, if I narrow those down, then it's easier for me to truly identify who or what my opposite forces are. Because sometimes just going through the script the first time, or shoot, even the second, third, or fourth time, you don't really know who your opposite forces are. So sometimes you have to do a little bit more of the background homework in order to get who the opposite force is, because sometimes, like I said, the opposite force is not a who, it may be a what. So keep that in mind. Number 3, that is going to be the character relationships. Now, relationships, you guys, this right here is heavy juice, because you're going to discover who it is in the script you have a relationship with the most, who it is you have a relationship with the least, who it is you have a relationship who you don't have a relationship with at all, and who do you have a relationship with but you never exchange dialogue. So sometimes writers will take characters and they will give them the same type of community. They will give them the same career paths. They'll give them a lot of similarities, which actually link them to have a relationship within the script, even though they never actually meet and have personal dialogue. So this is why doing this character relationship part is important, because it's not just establishing people who you directly interact with. It's also about discovering the people who you do not interact with. Because understanding those people who you don't have interactions with also help you when you're dissecting your script. It gives you more knowledge on who other characters are, and that helps you guide who your character is going to be. I know I'm being very vague with this because relationships is another segment for a different day, so tune back into the relationships segment. I'm not really sure where that is on my I can't think on the top of my head where that is on my calendar, but it's definitely coming up. So if you want to know more about character relationships, trust me, I'm going to go on into that just on a different day, because that has its own 6 different sections and I could go on for days about relationships. So just kind of going over the surface today. Number 4 is the physical description. So I broke that down into 11. I think it's 11. Yeah, A through J. So I broke that down into 11 points under the physical description. So you want to discover the age, sex, height, weight, color of hair, color of eyes, skin, posture, appearance, and heredity. So all of this, it's just biological makeup. What does your character look like? You have to give your character a face. Not your actual face, okay? Because for those of you who are completely new to this world, you are not your character, okay? You were cast because there is something in you that the directors saw that exuded what they visualized this character looks like, okay? Some of these descriptions, like height, sex, weight, color of hair, some of those things might not change between you, the character, and the actor. But for the most part, you want to make these physicalities extremely, extremely, extremely distinctive. For example, a production I worked on named Eclipse by Danai Gurira. Amazing. Gosh, amazing production. And it was 5 Liberian women. And clearly by me saying Liberian women, you can already tell that this play was basically set in Liberia, and it was set in a concentration camp. So I'm not Liberian. Not Liberian at all, okay? I am African American, okay? From Houston, Texas, H-Town, stand up, all right? So I know nothing, absolutely nothing, or I knew nothing, absolutely nothing about Liberia. I mean, of course, I've read about it, but I mean, that's the most that I know. I'm not really engulfed in that culture. So when I was creating my character, I did all of these things. I gave her a certain kind of walk. I gave her a different kind of stance, her posture, even in the fluctuation in her voice when she says certain words. So it's very imperative that you make this physical description completely different from who you are. When you hit that stage, or when I see your face on camera, I don't want to see Brittany. I want to see the character that Brittany is portraying. Okay. And so going back to preparing for the character Elena, I would, in rehearsals, I would take off my glasses, I would take off my jewelry, tie my hair up something, put it up in a what am I trying to say, a bandeau or something, not a bandeau, what is it called? I'll just say a wrap. Put my hair up in a wrap or something, so that way I can feel like Elena and be completely separate from who Brittany is. So this part about physical description is actually extremely, extremely important. If you, in your everyday life, you are a construction worker, so you're someone who is used to being outside and used to sweating and being dirty and around debris all day, but then you decide you want to be an actor, whatever, and you play a role as a president. Two completely different career styles and completely different occupations. So you, as a construction worker, you're going to maneuver, walk, and talk completely different than a president would, So making those physical distinctions, it is definitely very imperative. And so those are, you can add more into the physical description. Like I said, I had mentioned about a walk, the way that I even talk. Do you have a draw? Are you Southern? Are you from New Orleans? Are you are you British? Or discovering those types of things, which I'm actually getting ready to go into that next, about the sociological profile. So that's where you go into class, occupation, attitude, education, home life, religion, race, nationality, where do you stand in the community, political affiliations, amusements, and hobbies. So I kind of started going into this in the physical description, but as you can tell, that means that they all coincide together. All of these things simply make up who your character is going to be at the end of the day. So I kind of hit on this earlier, occupation, like when I gave the example about a construction worker versus a president. What does everyday life of a president look like versus what does everyday life of a construction worker look like? So you have to be able to dig into the minds and the lives of what these characters look like in order to basically find out the who you are. So for example, if you are a diehard Christian and you are extremely religious, you go to church 3 times on Sunday, Bible study every Wednesday, choir rehearsal every Thursday, mime practice on Friday, and then you feed the homeless and help out the food pantry on Saturday. You are going to have a little bit of a difficult time playing someone who is an atheist. Now, I say difficult time as far as creating your profile, but knowing how to do your character analysis will definitely be able to help you break down what that character looks like. So the reason why I gave this example is because an atheist and a Christian lead 2 totally different lifestyles. So you as the actor, the way that you interact with people in everyday life, the way that you're giving and you're caring and you're a listener, and you proclaim Christ, and you are definitely what's the word I'm looking for? Evangelist. You are an evangelizer. So that means every single day and every chance that you get, you talk about Christ all the time. But let's say you're playing a character who is an atheist. What do their conversations look like? They're not going to really evangelize at all. They may dabble in conversations when it comes to Christ by saying how they don't believe, or trying to call you a person, trying to call you out on your own religion by saying that you're completely ridiculous or believing in a higher power. So those type of conversations are going to be different. So you have to be able to do this breakdown to get into the mind of what that person looks like. What is their everyday makeup? You, the actor, you, the actor, you might wake up every morning and you pray before you get out of bed. But you, the character, would never pray before you get out of bed. You probably wake up and the first thing you do is check your emails, So thinking into breaking those moments down, religion is a very big part when it comes to a character, because you have some characters who have no religion at all. You have some characters who had religion and then they simply lost their faith. And then you have some characters who have never even thought about religion. They are just a complete carefree spirit. And so you want to be careful with that. Religion can be a little bit tricky, because sometimes you have characters who do bad things, but that doesn't really mean that inside they are truly a bad person. Maybe something happened to them, a detrimental factor in their life that turned them into this selfish, conniving person. But that doesn't mean that they don't have a spiritual connection with God, So sometimes religion can be very tricky. I know I was playing a character once where I had a lot of malicious tactics. And it was brought to my attention by another co-actor of mine who basically called my character the devil. They were like, you're the devil, you're just so malicious, and you're very selfish, and you're self-centered, and you're only in it to basically tear people down and make yourself rise. And I'm like, well, although that may be true, my character is also religious. My character is actually a Christian. Even though she's malicious, she's still a sinner. So sometimes we have to be careful about where we place people on that religion scale. And that's why this homework is very important. That's why reading your script is extremely important, because it helps you to be able to narrow down these sections when you are doing your character analysis. So moving on to the psychological profile. Psychological profile, this one I believe is broken down into 12, is it? Yeah, it's broken down into 12 segments. So I have moral standards, sexual behavior, ambitions, personal habits, frustrations, temperament, ooh, it's a good one, life attitude, abilities, talents, admirable qualities, and intelligence. Now, this in your you're in this part in your psychological profile is going to dig into the mind of your character. And now that I think about it, I think earlier when I was talking about the sociological profile, I said discovering the mind of your character. But I was probably reading this. So if I said that, sorry. Sorry. I was definitely trying to read and think at the same time, because who can do that? But anyway, no, your psychological profile is definitely gonna go all into the mind of your character. Because something I didn't put on here is your thoughts, or did I? No, I didn't. Your thoughts. When your character is not seen, what are they doing? What are they thinking about? What are they plotting against? What are they meditating on? And this is where that psychological profile definitely comes in handy, because a lot of this is where your character really gets their everyday makeup. More the who is discovered in the sociological, but more of the who is found in the psychological, because this is literally what is in here and what makes up simply who your character is going to be. How do they go throughout their everyday life? What does their schedule look like? When they wake up in the morning to when they go to bed at night, what does their schedule look like? Who are they interacting with? Are they in a relationship with someone? Are they intimate with anyone? Are they in love with themselves? What irritates them? What frustrates them? What pet peeves do they have? What is their everyday attitude? How do they feel about life? You know, are they a happy person? Are they always optimistic? Are they always pessimistic? Are they always super negative? Are they overjoyful and they live in a life of unicorns, roses, and daisies, where they think that nothing ever bad will happen? Are they more of a practical person? Are they more of are they a theological person? You know, what do they have? Any certain type of practices? Do they have any moral standards? I did put that on there. Do they have any moral standards? What do their ethics look like? Their family background. All of this goes into their psychological profile that makes up who that person is inside. And this is the discovery of who your character is on and off set. So when you see this person on set, your psychological profile, this is what they look like. When this person is off set, their psychological profile never changes. You know, this is who I am. This is what I look like on camera. This is what I am, and this is who I look like when I'm not on camera. So this is what this person is going to always continuously be 24/7. And that's why this is a very big aspect. All of these, of course, are very big aspects, but this part right here, the psychological profile, because I have, let's see, I have like 15 more subsections in the psychological profile. So I have, who are you? What's your first, middle, and last name? Because a lot of times in scripts, you'll just be given a first name. Sometimes the writer will give you a first, middle, and last. Sometimes they'll give you a first and last. Sometimes they'll give you a nickname. And you, as the actor, you have to be able to create what your name is. And you can't just make something up because it sounds good. Do your homework first, and then you can discover what you want your name to be. Sometimes your name is going to have meaning as to who you are, and sometimes it's just going to be your name. You know how like you meet those people where it's like, your name is John, but you really look like a Bob. Anybody ever I'm gonna call you Bob, you know? So that's kind of what this is like. Are you single? Are you married? Are you divorced? Do you have any children? What's your financial status? Are you wealthy? Are you poor? Are you middle class? Do you live paycheck to paycheck, or do you have financial freedom? Are you super wealthy? How do you dress, walk, and sit? I talked about that earlier. Your voice tones, justify them in your character's background. Do you have like a really high voice? Do you have a low kind of voice? Are you a little bit baritone? Do you have a raspy kind of voice? Do you talk really, really, really fast? You know, so those types of things definitely go into who your character is. This is all under psychological profile. Are you in good health? Ooh, that's a good one. If you're not in good health, why not? What made you... I don't want to say what made you obese or what made you skinny. But sometimes the writer will put it in there. The reason why you gained weight, or the reason why you lost weight. If there's no reason, do your homework, figure it out. Does your health change in the play? And that really goes into a lot of breakdown of your mental, because if your health changes within the course of the script, your mental is definitely going to change in the course of the script. Especially if you discover that you have a terminal illness, your mental makeup is going to be a complete shift. And then you're going to have to do 2 character analysis. So who your character was before, and then who your character was after that happened. So again, another topic for a different day. What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? And how are they affected in the script? Do you affect your strengths and weaknesses in the script, or do other people affect them for you? I don't know why I put this. I'm going to skip over that one because I don't know why I put that. What kind of life have you led? You know, have you always been a bad person? Have you always been a good person? Hey, have you always toyed between that fine line of morality? So, you know, yeah, that was pretty simple. Don't have to really go too much into that. I already kind of hit on this one. So what kind of home did you have growing up? So I talked about that earlier when I said the type of community surrounding you. But I didn't just mean I didn't mean like your neighborhood community, like I didn't mean just your neighborhood community, sorry. But your family livelihood as well. What does that makeup look like? Do you have any type of family traditions? Do you have a certain code of ethics that your family lives by? And this can be your extended family. This can be your immediate family. Do you have that goes into my next, well, it's not on here, but that goes into a thought that I just had. Do you have family? You know, did you just fall out the sky and land on a doorstep like the Grinch? You know, were you raised by wolves? You know, that all these things, it sounds funny, but all these things are imperative. Were you a foster child? Were you adopted by someone in your family? Do you not know any of your family? You know, were you left at a fire station and, you know, somebody raised you as their own but never told anybody? You know, those things are, again, imperative for reading your script, but also doing your homework. You can answer all of those questions. Let's see. That goes into relationships, so I'm not going to talk about that. Oh, this is a good one. Do you get what you want in the script? Does your character ever get what they want? Because that could be a super objective, is that you finally want to win. you want to gain something, you want to get something. You're always so used to losing, or you're always so used to having to give up something else. So are you a person who gains, or are you a person who loses? So that question is kind of loaded. Do you get what you want? Because that could be geared towards, like I said, do you get your super objectives? Do you get your subsection objectives in each scene? Or do you simply get what you want, as in, do you feel entitled and privileged to everything? And it doesn't matter who you are or who it is that's around you, you're going to always get what you want at the end of the day. Let's see. Who is your God? And this has nothing to do with religion. It's more so about what the character. What did I say? Sometimes I don't even know what I wrote. Not about religion, but okay. Oh, okay. Not about religion, but what the character feels is basically the guiding force in their entire life. So it could be your family, it could be your career, it could be your children, it could be a multitude of things. It could be your car, for Christ's sake. So like I said, this has nothing to do with religion. This is more so what is the basically theme of your life, what it is that your character uses to motivate themselves and to guide themselves throughout the entirety of the script. And then my last 2 points are, what are the differences between you, the actor, and the character? And what are the similarities between you, the actor, and the character? What you don't want to do is start to employ the character into you, the actor's everyday life. You want to make those lives completely separate, you know? I think about it all the time when it comes to Heath Ledger, our amazing Joker in The Dark Knight. And this is why this part is very imperative, because if you don't distinguish between you, the actor, and you, the character, sadly and unfortunately, you, the actor, can become engulfed in the character that you created, to where you start to exude all of the characteristics of that character that you created in the actor everyday life. And sometimes you have actors who do that, and that basically embody the character on and off set, and that's okay. But certain characters, you have to be very, very careful, because there's a really fine line in between the character. There can be a fine line in between the character and the actor if you don't make sure that they're two completely separate people. So that's why that part right there is important, that you discover what is different and what is similar between them. And it's homework for you, the actor, to not come so attached to your character, but at the same time, it's also good for your character work, so you can discover the things to do that is like you, and the things not to do. So with that being said, I want to thank you guys for tuning in to my very first Double T segment of doing your homework. Go ahead and like, subscribe, repost, share it to your mama, sister, brother, daddy, cousin, whatever. And I'll see you guys back here next week. Love ya. Thanks for tuning in. Bye.